Hey guys, hope you're doing really well. So let's get into something really important. So at the moment, Facebook is making a claim, having used over 7 million books to train its AI, that these books have no economic value. And it's a staggering thing to think about, because it's like books are art. Does the art which AI is trained on have no economic value? But let's just bring it back to books. So do books have economic value? Of course they do. They've got an economic value or an economic incentive for the artist, because the artist will be paid to write the books. The publisher and the publishing companies, they will be paid to publish the book. The companies that produce the paper will be paid. The companies that produce the ink will be paid. The people who do the cover art, the artists, will be paid. Everybody is being paid. They're being taxed. When the books are being shipped, there's money in logistics. When all of these different supplies are being shipped around, manufactured, everything like that, just behind this entire industry, there's economic value there. This is one of the stupidest arguments that I have ever heard. Books do have an economic value. And yeah, it's great that Facebook thinks that it can go in and take from all these people. There's this little thing called copyright, right? Copyright, the right to copy. Now, technically, is Facebook doing that? No. However, if its AI is taking loads and loads of stuff from different authors, this is a form of plagiarism. Plagiarism is not something which is acceptable. And it's like, well, I just think to myself, why would anyone create art after a certain point? You know? I know that a large amount of artists, I'm one of the artists that create music, I create crappy films. I don't do this for the money. If I did, and I spent all my time doing it for the money, I would probably have a lot more money than I do now, and I'd probably be able to get involved in bigger and better projects, and I'd probably be happier. I do it because I love it. Now I'm thinking, well, at the moment I'm writing a book. What if that ended up being copied and utilized by an AI, and the AI was just then used to churn out loads and loads and loads of things using my work? Would I be happy with that? Well, of course I wouldn't, because the AI would be giving this company my skills, my training, everything that makes me a human being. It will be giving that to a company, and it's taking that without me saying, hey company, you can use me. You can use me as a test subject. I've never said that to an AI company. I don't think I ever will. I don't want an AI that makes my own stuff, and I certainly feel for every single artist out there who is being ripped off, manipulated, and abused by these companies. They're coming along and taking people's work. And to be honest, I think it's time that people put the damn foot down over this. Because, okay, AI may be pulling it from all of these different sources and putting it all together, and it may be giving logical reasons and all this other stuff, and it may be completely different. But ultimately, if you're training an AI, it should be trained by human beings who consent to having their information used. It's like an AI. If it watches a person for like 2 years and it learns who that person is, sees everything that they do, and it observes them and they consent to that, that's different. That's fine. That is a person-based AI that is really good at being that person. And that's great. You could have like a professor of law. You could have anybody who is very well trained, very intelligent, and the AI could just be learning from them, and that would be okay, because there is a consent there from a person. But when you go and you take something without consent, without it being allowed, when there are laws in place to try and protect people from this kind of thing, this is abusive, and it's incredibly abusive. I mean, look into the way that Facebook works in general, and you see a massive minefield. Let's say, just if you don't believe me, make sure that your account, like, make a page on Facebook, set up your business account, right, and try running ads. Then what you do, take the Facebook pixel, you put that in your website. You can use these little tools from the Facebook business information to literally suck information out of people and advertise to people in the most clandestine and screwed up way possible. I don't use Facebook pixels. I do marketing, right? I'm a digital marketer. That is one of my many skills that I have worked on and honed over the years. And I find it so disturbing the way that these things are being manipulated. It is really, really disturbing, because AI in general seems to be very positive and it seems to be very friendly. And I don't have an issue with the AI. In fact, I've actually had some good conversations with AI, you know. But when it comes down to it, it's dangerous when that AI is not something that has been consented to. That's like, it's a very, very weird sort of area for me. I know I'm starting to ramble a little bit, but just because I've seen the inside of all of this sort of thing, because I've seen the inside of the way that Facebook markets to people, I've seen what Facebook has done in terms of deplatforming people, right? There are a lot of people that I don't agree with, and I don't agree with a lot of the things that they say, but they've been deplatformed, and not because they've been in breach of terms and conditions. I've been deplatformed as well, all right? Not because I breached any terms and conditions, but because there are rules in place, put in place by certain governments in the world that Facebook has adhered to and they have agreed to. So they are picking and choosing what they can do, and what they've done is, when you've got a government like the American government doing something like this, Meta is an American company, right? They have to follow the Constitution. Where was the freedom? Where was the freedom of speech for people? You know. Where was the freedom of speech? Where was the law when they agreed to the American government telling them to take people off? This is a hugely concerning issue, right? It just gets down to one big horrible blob company. And this is a dangerous and screwed up and evil company, right? And yeah, I like the fact that I can communicate with my friends. It's a good thing. But the way that they go about their business is not good. So it's one of those things where I am becoming more and more concerned with the way that Facebook does things. Just to go off on a slightly off on another tangent, right? One thing that really, really grinds my gears about Facebook is in terms of adverts. Now, when you've got a business account, you get somebody assigned to you, right? Now, I've seen a lot of adverts that go up on Facebook all the time from companies that say things like, this is our shutdown sale, we're closing down, all of this stock's going for cheap and everything. And there's always a sneaky thing, like, for example, you're paying $50 for an item that you can get for under $1, right? And this is actually happening in the world. I've made a few videos over the years on this stuff, right? So one of the ones I made a while back was on a thing called the Crystal Rose, where, you know, it's under $1, and people are like, people go on this website and they're like, oh wow, it's been reduced from $75 to $50. I'll buy that for my missus. And it's like, you've got thousands of comments supporting this. You've got loads and loads of support. And at the end of the day, these scam ads, they're the ones who are actually earning Facebook the money, because the small businesses can't afford this stuff, right? But if I took, say, £1,000, I could go out there and scam people and bring back probably 100,000 out of it. That's what I can do with my knowledge, but I refuse to do it. I refuse to live like that. I'm not that kind of vermin, right? I'm just your standard marketing vermin, you know, like the little gremlins that try and help people. You know, I'd rather go to a company and I'd rather go there and take photographs and, you know, put them online and say, here, this is what we do, and then people go on it and they're like, oh wow, it's nice that you do that sort of thing, and it makes me feel good, it makes the company feel good, and it does get people in. But Facebook makes so much money out of all of this stuff, so it has got an economic incentive to keep doing this stuff. It has got an economic incentive to take money to deplatform people. It's got an economic incentive to build this AI, and therefore, if the AI is being built out of books, they are part of its makeup. And if the AI has economic value, if Facebook has economic value, which it does, and it wouldn't do anything if it didn't have economic value, because that's why it does the things that it does, why it takes things like Instagram, WhatsApp, and integrates them into itself. Oh God, the amount of antitrust that Facebook's just allowed to get away with. The antitrust, man, the antitrust is everywhere. Who is this antitrust, you ask? God, it's sickening. It's absolutely sickening. And the Facebook whistleblowers, as condemned as they are, they're right about a lot of the stuff they say. Now, I disagree with them on a couple of things. I think some things are necessary for the platform, right? But not the stuff that's completely and totally immoral. And the theft of people's work is immoral. And until people start seeing the immoral and screwed up side of Facebook, things are getting really, really dark out there, man. It's like, I think of all of the artists, the people who spend their time to create, the people who burn their lives away, sitting there day after day. I'm writing a book at the moment. I know how horrible it is. I've been writing it for the past 2.5 years, man. I started writing tiny little shreds of it before, but it was just me joking around, writing short stories and things. But now I've been really, really focused on this. I know how much time and energy goes into it. And if someone turns around to me and says, well, that has no value, Alex, it's got value to me, right? Maybe it's not got economic value at the moment because it's not published, but maybe it will have. Maybe I'll be one of the best authors in the world. I doubt it. I will never be as good as Carl Hiaasen, And whilst I'm writing it because I want to enjoy it and stuff, I don't just want to sit back and think, oh well, I'm a published author at the end of the day. I want people to read it. I want them to laugh. All right. I want them to be able to go into work feeling happy. That's my value that I'll get from it. It's so crazy, the fact that companies are doing all this stuff. I've tried out ChatGPT. I've tried out Grok. I've tried out Suno. I actually quite like Suno, right? Why don't I use it on my music channel? I believe I've got the rights to do it. I've checked their terms and conditions. If you pay the subscription, you can use the stuff. The voices, the people that have sung my music, I don't know who they are. I love their voices. I get them to write silly little songs. I got them to write a song about pigeons. I got them to write a song about penguins. I got them to write a joke song for one of my bosses. Right, but that's somebody's voice, and that person, I don't know if they've consented. So why should I? People are going out there and they're selling this as content. They're selling it, like reselling the music. Yeah, I've used it for my own personal things, just to make a couple of people laugh and to have a bit of a fun myself. But I can't use someone else's voice, someone who doesn't consent. It's just so screwed up. But anyway, that's my rant over. I'm getting so sick of. I'm sick of the AI thing where it's using things without consent. There are many people who would be happy to have their name, voice, and everything else attached to AI. But the AI people, they don't want to pay. They don't want to pay a little bit of money to these artists. They just want to take and then say, oh, your work is meaningless. Really? You're really going to go down this route? Yeah? That meaningless work that people have slaved over for hours and hours is meaningless. Really? Really? Is that what you're going to say? Oh my God, these people. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. I just took your house. It's got no economic value. I'm sorry, I just slept with your wife. She has no economic value. It's like, where is it going to end? Really? Everything that can be bought or sold or has any connection to stuff that can be bought or sold. A hacksaw has economic value because it can cut down a tree. The tree has economic value because it can be turned into paper. The paper has economic value because it can go into a book. The book has economic value. Facebook is a load of nonsense. Does that platform have no economic value? Why is it worth so much money? Why do people pay stock? When companies why are publishing companies, why do they have any form of economic value? Oh my God, these people are so stupid. If this actually goes through and this is actually an acceptable argument at the end of the day, art is dead. Art is absolutely friggin' dead. And I am so angry with it all. It's like a company can easily go and grab a person, someone who's smart, and say, I'll pay you 2 million, 3 million, a lifetime's worth of work. I'll give you that if you give me yourself to study for AI purposes. There are so many people that will consent to that. There are so many people who would do that. To help my friends, I would give a couple of years of my life to be an AI test subject. If I had the money, I could do so much, you know? And there are so many artists that have starved and suffered and slaved to try and make things, and to be told that their work is valueless, being used by a gigantic corporation just to make its money grow. Of course those books have economic value. And the thing is, these companies, the ones that are building the AI, they have the money to pay for all of this. They can pay people ridiculous amounts of money just to, study, for them to be a test subject or studied. But they'd rather sit back and say, oh no, we can run all this stuff for nothing. We can make huge amounts of money out of nothing. Because AI is used in everything. I've used combinations of ChatGPT and I use Pinterest. I managed to combine them together. There's a couple of great programs out there that you can knock them all together and instantly I can just fabricate 1 million Amazon links and have them go up and drip feed over time, and it'll take me 5 minutes. Why don't I do it? Because I'm not going to use people's work. Thanks for listening to me. You take care.